Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to go over my character review for Cha. I'm going to start with a general overview and then we're going to go in detail about the kit, the ignition weapon, and all the other things. So for the general overview, I can say that Cha is an amazing carry. It deals insane amount of damage. It will need a bit of support to reach the max damage potential, but it's not even that much. It's mainly defense decreased that a lot of units can offer nowadays. So it's not that big of a deal. It will also need grouping and it will need survivability, but we're going to go in more detail about that in the team building section of the video. In terms of utility it provides, other than obviously the massive amount of damage, it provides an AoE energy decrease that it can spam so frequently enemies will hardly use their special moves. Especially again, if you have grouping, so you hit all of them and no enemy will ever use the special move. That's insane. It can counter Shia Shia, which is one of the most annoying enemies to face in Adventure. So that's really, really valuable. That's also why I gave him Irregular Arrow Down, just because of how easy he makes certain matchups. You will need to build a team around him to keep him alive, sure. You will need grouping, sure. But it is still justified. This guy is a monster. You don't even have to max him out. If you max him out, he will have way more damage, obviously, and also somewhat decent survivability. I don't want to say that that's enough. You still need the team to keep him alive. But the survivability that he gets from Revolution 5 is nice because he gets a hit barrier. Is similar to Yugo's, but not quite, because Yugo can only be damaged by one enemy at a time. This guy could potentially be hit by all 5 enemies. So they have the same durability as Yugo, but is not going to last that long. Still decent. It's a nice revolution to have. So if you can max him out, would definitely be appreciated. But I know that a lot of people don't have resources after maxing out Urek. So this guy is an easy skip, let's say, because you can get him at 0 dupes anytime and it will work pretty well. Obviously, it's a shame to skip him, but I mean, if you cannot max him out like either way, even if you were to pull, then just skip. I mean, it's just how it is. You cannot max out every single unit. This guy is amazing, but again, you can use him at 0 dupes. You will get him. So no big deal, I would say. And yeah, I think for the general overview, that's pretty much all. We can have a quick look at the kit, Execution Revolution, and then we're going to move on to the next point. So for the base kit, it is super easy. So we're going to start with a passive as usual. So every time he hits with any kind of attack, it's going to decrease the enemy energy by 150. Insane. Then he gets an attack and defense increase for 10 seconds after he uses a skill with a maximum of 6 stacks, which is a really relevant increase. I don't like the defense part because it's completely worthless. It's just useful maybe in PvP, but that's about it. For Adventure, that's complete garbage. I don't know why they even added that. We're not going to build resistances at all. So whatever, it's okay-ish. You could build resistances if you wanted to, but I don't know. I'm not too fond of it. I'd rather not, I'd say. But it's potentially acceptable. And then we have the other part that I fixed on my website, but I think the description in game is still wrong. Because in the game it says base Pierce is fixed at 0. I fixed it in basic attack Pierce is fixed at 0. So your physical Pierce is working normally. It's just the basic attack Pierce that he has in the Revolution subnode that is going to be converted into attack. So you invest in the subnode, you will get 100% basic attack Pierce that will turn into 300% attack. So that's a really good node to invest into, and that's about it. Then the last part of the passive is that his basic attacks pierce the targets. So this passive is insane. You have an attack buff, you have energy decrease on enemies, you have yet another attack buff, and the fact that your basic attacks can pierce enemies. Pretty good overall, nothing to say. Then we have the first active skill that is pretty straightforward, multi-hit attack, which means it's going to benefit a lot from attack coefficient increases. And then every time he uses the skill, the attack coefficient of the skill is increased by 400%, max 5 stacks. So after you use the skill 5 times, you're going to deal massive amounts of damage. The second active skill is basically the same. It's going to move to the rear of the team, then it's going to hit 3 times the enemies, ignoring 50% of the enemy defense, which is good. And again, multi-hit attack. So this one gets a lot of benefits from attack efficient increases that he also has already in the skill itself. Every time you use this, you're going to get a 400% attack efficient increase. Again, max 5 stacks. Pretty straightforward, really good. Also, the AoE on this one is pretty massive, so really great skill. Then we have the special move. It's going to become invincible, teleport to an enemy, which is annoying because he is a ranged unit, and this one forces him to go close range, which at times is pretty risky, but okay. And then he's going to hit enemies 5 times, sending them airborne. And whenever he uses this, it's going to reduce the active skill cooldown by 50%. With Revolution, that becomes 100%. Is an active skill reset. So you can cast the active skills again with Revolution 4. That's massive. And every time you use the special move, the attack efficient is also increased. So that's really insane, guys. That's a lot of damage. Really a lot of damage. Then for the exclusive equipment is also quite straightforward, other than the fact that they added physical resistance here. Kinda dumb. Maybe crit rate or crit damage would have been better, but it is what it is. They're kind of trying to tell you to try out the resistance build. It's better not to, from my point of view, but you can give it a shot if you want. For level 1, is going to recover 300 energy whenever he uses the active skill 1. And for level 2, whenever he uses again the active skill 1, is going to decrease the swiftness of the enemies by 50. For level 3, is going to get yet another defense increase that I don't like, but okay. I mean, definitely resistance build will work if you are probably 350 to 400 deficit and below, and if you only use him for the utility and as a sub DPS, then perfectly fine, you can run it, no issues. But I'd rather just use him as a carry because it deals so much damage. It's probably better to use him like that. Then for level 4, it gets a 100 attack speed the first 10 seconds of the battle. Really solid as well, really good. So that's it for the exclusive equipment. Overall, it is a really good one. Then let's look at the revolution increase or the revolution buffs. For revolution 4, we have that the special move always lands as a crit, so that's pretty nice. Even though we're still building critical hit rate here and there just to get closer to the 100% and maximize also the damage from active skills, but this is definitely nice, especially when you are in floors that decrease your crit rate. This is going to be really solid. Then we have the fact that I mentioned before, so from 50% cooldown reduction to reset of the cooldown. Really good. Then Revolution 5 is the hit barrier I mentioned before. So every time you use the active skill 2, you're going to generate a 10 durability hit barrier that will last for 12 seconds and will increase your attack and defense while it is active. So this is a nice durability increase, but you still need the team to keep you alive. It's not like Hugo, again, as I said. So it's barely going to be enough to protect you every now and then. And that's it for Evolution. Overall, also really good stuff here. Let me close this. Now let's briefly talk about the ignition weapons. Here you have quite a few options. I would say Barry is in general like best in slot in this case, just because Mago has not been buffed yet, but more on that in a second. So Barry is there just for this durability. You have the hit barrier. When it expires on the enemy, it depletes it or destroys it, and then they hit you, you're going to have sort of a second life, and that's it. But it doesn't boost your damage, which is a shame, and it's just there again for the durability part. Is it great? I mean, it works, is the one I would recommend in general. But I think if you can and if you want, you can go L as well. The attack speed increase is not too massive, but it will help somehow. And the hit barrier will be good. You will be stacking animations probably a lot of times, so you might not have it up all the time. But when you do have it, I mean, it's just additional hit barriers. So it's not bad. It's a good addition. I'm not too fond of it. I tried it. It was working okay, but I mean, kind of interchangeable with Bari, I would say. Alocasia can work if your evasion is high enough. Maybe after they buff Alocasia, that will be even better. I don't know. But for now, it is an acceptable set, I would say. Look at your evasion. If adding 40% to that can get you 400 above the enemy accuracy, then it is a viable set. If it doesn't, then I would just not even bother. You can run something else. Mago is the set I'm currently running. After trying all of these options, I settled for Mago. Even though the durability it provides is 0, I really like the damage part of it. You're going to get 10% crit rate, that for now can be removed, so whatever. 10% attack, really solid as well. And we're getting 50% crit damage, and we're getting a very important 20% defense ignore on every attack. That's insane. That's really good value from my point of view. And they will buff Mago. It will take probably 5-6 more months, but they will buff it. If they give it any sort of durability, that's going to be best in slot. If they increase the defense ignore, that's gonna be even better. Like, really, we'll see, but I have high expectations from this set. I think it is his best set, hands down. Or it will be. For now, if you can keep him alive, I already think is better than L. It gave me a lot more damage. It was a lot more comfortable, but kind of up to you. If you have Mago pieces to spare, use it. Keep in mind you will need to provide more durability to your Cha. But yeah, in the future, I'm pretty positive Mago is going to be buffed and will be even better for Cha. So that's about it in terms of like ignition weapon selection. For the investment, as I mentioned, for the mandatory, you can go 0 dupes. Is not a big deal. Is really strong, even at 350 deficit. Here I gave him Rancor, and for above 350 I gave him S, because obviously it will fall off a lot more quickly without all the additional damage, durability, and all the other things. So it is still fine. It works. It provides a lot of utility with the energy decrease. So in general, I really liked him even at 0 dupes. If you cannot really invest in him, definitely try to play him. Like, if you can get your hands on a 0 dupes Cha, definitely use him. It is really good. Even better than like White Rainbow 5. If you were using White Rainbow 5 in one of your teams, you can try using Cha instead and providing some more durability, and it will do okay. So keep that in mind, maybe give it a shot and let me know. In terms of gear, you just focus on crit rate and crit damage, obviously, and accuracy if needed, and that's about it. And for ignition weapons, now this is a bit trickier, maybe. So I kind of assigned in slot 4 effect resistance because it's similar to Yugo. You have an hit barrier, but they can still CC you, they can still stun you, whatever. So it's better to have effect resistance. You don't have access to it in the Revolution subnodes, so it is good to have it as a main stat in slot 4. You're losing out on 40% crit damage. It's not the end of the world, even if you lose out on that in terms of damage output. So I think it is reasonable. You can still run crit damage if you say, okay, I'm running invincibility in my team. I don't care. I'm going to protect him also from status effects. Then sure, go ahead, go crit damage. But I think I'd rather have this effect resistance. I think it's really, really important. It was really comfortable to use. So I think it's the best stat you can run here. You could go effect it for PvP, but we don't care about PvP here, whatever. So it's okay. For slot 5, just physical pierce. It's the only option. Unless you want to go again for a resistance build, you can try it. It's definitely going to lower the requirements on the teammates and the durability that the team needs to provide, but I don't think it's worth it. Just maximizes damage, is going to one-shot everything. And that's basically it, guys, for the mandatory investment. Let's look at the recommended. It immediately jumped to Rainbow 5. And in terms of gear, is the same. In terms of ignition weapon, again, effect resistance, same as before. For Revolution, I straight up recommend Revolution 6. This is not something I normally do, but the basic attack pierce attack increase is so massive. I just decided to recommend it directly here and not just in nice to have. So here we just go accuracy as usual because you need to hit the enemies. So this is optional. As much as you need, you're going to invest in it, and that's it. That's your top one priority if your accuracy is lower than the enemy. Then we have attack speed, really helpful to generate more energy, and just in general also decrease the like energy of the enemies more frequently because basic attacks are also going to lower the energy of the enemy's hit. Basic attack pierce to further increase your attack. Attack, well, for the same reason. Then we have crit damage increase. All of these are all important. You want to invest on all of them. And then we have effect hit. This is just optional, it's not mandatory to have. You don't need to put all 20 points, just enough to be above the enemy effect resistance. So not too much in adventure. The reason why this is not higher in priority is because it doesn't really have a lot of stuff that need affected. It's just the airborne from the special move and the swiftness decrease that he gets from an active skill thanks to his exclusive equipment. That's it. Only those two effects. The energy decrease is not impacted by it, so we don't really care. And yeah, overall, that's all you will need on Cha. For the nice to have, it is exactly the same, just higher investment on the ignition weapon. So it's basically the same. Nothing changed. And yeah, that's it for the investment part. I would say we can quickly mention the team building aspect. So in terms of team building, the stuff that it provides to the team is, as we already said, high AoE damage, high AoE energy decrease, and swiftness decrease. So simple, straightforward, nothing much. He's a DPS. We don't really need to expect much more from him. The things he needs from the team are grouping, super important so that his energy decrease is applied to everybody and also all of his damage. Survivability, because again, he only has a hit barrier when he's Revolution 5. Defense decrease, because he's an attack scaling DPS unit, you will need a lot of it. So the best units would be, well, we're going to see them in a second, but they would be Augustus, Towa, Shia, Albelda, and all others that have a defense decrease. So really, really important. HP recovery block would be, as always, really important when you're facing any kind of healer. So that's okay. Energy, not too essential. He can already generate a lot of it for himself, but if you can give him some more, it will obviously not say no. And buff removal always comes in handy, especially when enemies have a lot of defense increased stacks. And if you can remove them, it would be appreciated. The enemies that you should avoid are enemies that have multi-hit attacks, again, because of your barrier, but is not that important. If you have the right supports that can keep him alive regardless, then it's not that big of a deal. It's irrelevant. You can use him against whatever you want. And in terms of which unit this unit is good against, are every unit that has only good special moves and kind of garbage active skills. In those cases, they will not use the the special moves. So if their active skills are garbage, they won't do shit. So, but in general, is good against anything. So that's great. For unit synergies, we have Iran because she's the best grouper in the game, except for again Wolak Song Urek, the new EX. So really great synergy there. We have Augustus. This guy has a lot of debuffs in his kit. He has defense decrease, physical resistance decrease. He has yellow element resistance decrease as well, which is massive. He has lots of stuff. So super important debuffer. If you can use him, definitely use them together. He also has some sort of grouping, but is not again a grouping like Irang. You will need some other units to at least do the initial grouping, and then you can keep them stick together. But yeah, really insane combo. Augustus Cha are really good together. Then we have Tawa for disrobability. She provides invincibility for the whole team, and also the 80% defense decrease that she has. Also the swiftness buff, so lots of stuff in her kit. Really insane support, one of the best. And if you want to replace her with somebody else, because I didn't want to add too many units here, you can run Evan, even though you lose the damage portion of Tawa, but you have at least immortality that should be able to keep Cha alive quite easily. You can also use Elite Spy Shia, lower invincibility time, so only 2 seconds, but she also provides defense decrease, same as Tawa. She also removes buffs, so that's important. And yeah, in general, she's a really great unit to pair with any attack scaling DPS. Then we have Albelda, obviously more hit barriers, so more survivability. She also has invincibility, which is good. She has the active skill reset, which is not too important in this case because he already has one. But yeah, definitely the survivability and the extra attack are both beneficial to Chao. So she's a good unit. Alfine, again, some survivability and grouping, not too insane, but at times is enough. Also, the evasion decrease is good. And in general, Alfine is a really solid unit to have. Ayura for the mortality for the whole team, pretty simple. Also for the attack speed and the physical pierce, physical resistance decrease, stuff like that. So great support also in that case. Anniversary Iwa, just there for survivability pretty much, and that's it. Another unit that you can run with Cha would be Sharon. Sharon also provides the crit rate increase, so that if you cannot reach 100% crit rate, no problems. Sharon will give whatever you're missing. And she also provides insane survivability for Cha. Cha will be almost unkillable. It will only have short windows of time where it can be damaged, and then it will have 10 hit barrier. So usually it will never die most of the times. So great. Unfortunately, Cha doesn't provide grouping or anything else. Uh, she also provides the attack efficient increase, which obviously works really well with Cha's kit. But again, she's great, but probably there are better units where you want to run Sharon instead. Hockney is also good. Evasion increase will help, guaranteeing that the hit barrier will last a bit longer. And also the extra energy is definitely important. So it is a good option. Not the best, but it is a good one. Then we have Ice Spear Kunagero, because both units will need grouping and both of them will need survivability. So if you already have both of those, you can add Ice Spear Kunagero for the defense decrease that he has, the energy decrease, but that's kind of redundant, and the HP recovery block that he has. So really, really good stuff. And yeah, those were more or less all the ones that I wanted to mention. There might be more for sure, but these are just some examples. For the basic teams, I tried to put together a basic monocolor team that everyone could run. We have Ice Spear Kunagero that is going to freeze the enemies at the beginning a little bit. So usually they don't crash on your team immediately, which is going to give you enough time. And also they should be close together enough for Augustus to do the grouping. Not all the time, kind of depends on the enemy setup, but it could be good enough. And yeah, so we have Kunagero for that purpose, which hopefully Evan can keep alive reliably. And we have Bomb that can give energy to Evan so that he can use the special move a bit earlier. And we have Cha there to provide the damage and the energy decrease. And we have Augustus for all the debuffs that he provides. There is a bit of redundancy here. Maybe you could remove Augustus for somebody else, maybe to provide extra survivability. Or you could remove Kunagero for maybe a better frontline unit, or I don't know, a different unit. Because the defense decrease from Augustus and Kunagero is a bit redundant, so you don't need both necessarily, but it was just an idea. You can obviously do some more replacements, but it should be solid enough. For the multicolor team, I added Albelda to Cha and also Shia, so that he can basically never die. I added Evan as extra insurance, but we already have the defense decrease from both Albelda and Shia. Any rank for grouping. So the first team was lacking grouping, so you could run maybe Irang instead of Augustus. Could have been an option as well, definitely. But yeah, that's kind of an idea. But The best team would have Towa, would also have Yugo, would have Augustus, would have Cha. So it's kind of a weird setup, but definitely works. These are just some basic teams. Again, you can improve on them. It was just to provide some information to people that might have maybe not all the units yet. So I just wanted to give some more ideas. Let me know in the comments maybe which teams you're running, which teams you like with Cha. And yeah, I would say that's all for the character review. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!